Daggum, boy, you got you a blog?
Greetings, Earthling.
Hello, and Happy New Year, everyone. It is Saturday, January 9th. Coming to you live, Morgan Freelance Studios. This is Dougie Fresh. Been away for a minute, but we're about to start this thing back up the right way. In preparation for the NFL playoffs, we have a special quick episode for you. We give our picks and analysis. I got my buddy Isaac Leong calling in from Reno, Nevada, to give some insights. He's one of the premier daily fantasy players out in California and made the trip over to Reno to do some sports wagering. So we're excited to get his picks here. Now, I just want to say that, gamble responsibly. We don't condone any illegal online gambling. Make sure you check with your state. Check the laws before you do any type of wagering like that. Obviously, if you're in Vegas or you're in a casino, you can go to the sports book and responsibly place your wagers there. I know a lot of people who don't normally bet on sports do place wagers for the NFL playoffs and obviously for the Super Bowl. This is the time of year where, the quote-unquote public will come play the game with the big boys, with the Sharks. But some people do this year-round. Some people make a living by speculating on sports. And personally, I think that it's not much different than the stock market. You're basically putting your resources, you're putting your financial faith in the performance of a company. Now, that company is not a Fortune 500 corporation. That company is a sports organization, a professional or a collegiate sports organization. And as we know, with the NCAA football championship coming up between Alabama and Clemson, we know that Alabama is a huge program. Their coach makes millions of dollars per year, more than many of your average, when I say average professional athlete, I mean median salary. So needless to say, there is a lot of money in sports. And I think it's the last bastion of galvanizing entertainment in this country. What do I mean by that? So back in the days, in the not so distant past, everybody tuned in to CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. Your TV had 13 channels, and people were watching whatever broadcast was on those channels, and then you go to work or school next day, and that's what you would talk about. So when Michael Jackson had his live, performance, the 25-year anniversary, everybody saw it. Everybody was talking about it. But today, 2016, pop culture is way more fragmented. And you can find a niche. You can find a genre of music that may not be popular, but there's a group of thousands of people that have found each other online, and they follow that group or that, electronic group of music producers, something like that. You get my point. And with shows, there used to be daytime TV shows, soap operas, and half the nation was watching these things, and everybody was talking about the same thing. It was something that people could relate and bond over. But today, you don't really have that. There's hundreds of channels on DirecTV. People are watching shows on demand on their phones and on their computers. Everybody's in their own little world is kind of the point that I'm trying to make. and it's an election year. So that's something that I guess is on most people's radar. Most people are following the race and they know about Donald Trump, they know about Bernie Sanders, etc. But besides that, what do we have that we can all look forward to? I mean, the movies, but not really. I mean, you got to watch TV to see commercials, to watch previews in order for everybody to know about the movie coming out. So I think that's dwindling as well. So getting back to sports, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, these sports figures are superstars in the way that Michael Jackson was a superstar. Meaning that you don't have to be an English-speaking North American to know about these people. It's international. You can be on the bus, on the subway, and somebody is wearing, a Seahawks jersey, and you guys can relate because everybody knows about the Super Bowl. So sports is actually very important. When people say that they don't follow sports, I wonder about them. And it doesn't mean that you're not manly or that you're not a citizen, you're not patriotic. It kind of means that you're living under a rock. The debate about who's better, Kobe or Michael Jordan, everybody's got an opinion about that. Everybody can weigh in and say, I think Michael Jordan was better. And the 96 Bulls can beat the 2000 Lakers or vice versa. So when we get together and we talk about sports, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. It's to keep the community together. Because people are getting more and more divided and more isolated. But when you get together with your friends or strangers and you talk about sports, you're bonding for a moment. Anyway, that little rant is out the way. Let's get into some picks. So today, we got Isaac DeLeong. Follow him on Twitter at Isaac, IsaacDleong. Isaac DeLeong on Twitter. Super smart guy. I've known him since kindergarten, I think. We went to the same elementary school back in Ventura County, and now he lives up in the Bay Area. And just a super smart guy. We have the same type of mentality when it comes to thinking outside the box, when it comes to being resourceful with one's opportunities. And we live, I like to say, not your 9-to-5 type of lifestyle. We're hustlers. And I don't mean on the street corner hustling. I mean taking the road less traveled and trying to find adventure in everyday life. So with that being said, let's welcome our special guest, Isaac, to the show.
Yo.
All right, here we go. Broadcasting from somewhere USA. We're about to check out the playoff picture. Today's Saturday, January 9th, and about to pick the games. Isaac, you ready to do this?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. It's freezing out here in Reno. Snow on the ground, but yeah, ready for some football.
How's the people looking? Like, are people confident in their teams, or are they looking kind of confused at the desk? What's going on?
No, it's people are confident. At least I am confident in my picks.
Nice. So the first game we have today is the Texans at the Chiefs, and the line is what? -3 for the Chiefs. It's been wobbling at 3.5 and 3.
Last time I checked was -3.5 for the Chiefs.
So who do you like and why?
I like Kansas City Chiefs. They're on 11-game winning streak. No one can stop them. The defense is really tough. I think Texans with Hoyer, I can't really trust Hoyer in the playoffs. What do you think?
I have never seen Hoyer play in the playoffs, but from what I hear on Andy Reid, he's like a reverse luck charm. I mean, do we look at the pedigree, the past performance of these teams and the legacy, or do we just look at this season? When you make your picks, if you're betting your life on it, what do you
I
decide?
think with this season, I mean, the last couple of years, the teams that make it to the Super Bowl are the teams that come in hot.
Right.
Look at Seattle 2 years ago. Look at Green Bay, was it 4 years ago?
Yeah.
That when you go into the playoff winning streak, you get that momentum, you get that confidence that you could keep on winning. So I like how they look. I was at the Chiefs game 2 weeks ago against the Browns, and man, that defense is for real.
You know, I agree, and I actually picked up Alex Smith as my backup QB in my fantasy league, and I dropped him after one bad performance, but he's been the real deal this year, and I think that they're going to win handily. I think that J.J. Watt is a great player, but their defense is not going to stop Kansas City, and I predict at least an 8-point victory. So I think it's a nice line. I say, you know, go big, go moderate on that. So we agree.
I go big on this one.
Now
once Houston's behind, Hoyer's like taking his team back.
Exactly.
It's a done deal. Chiefs with the pick six. Quote me on that. A pick six.
Exactly. They have no idea how to play from behind. I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast, and he rattled off the wins that they had this year. They're garbage. They have not beat any quality teams. I'm talking about the Texans. So I agree. That one should be pretty obvious. Now, the later game, Bengals at Steelers, this one is a little bit more controversial, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The line started off at, what, I think the Steelers by 3.5 or 3, and now it's at 2?
Yeah, it's at 2 now. So it looks like the public's starting betting on the Bengals like your boy is.
You've been on them all
Bengals.
season. You've been on them all season. You predicted them to hit make the Super Bowl.
Yes, I mean, if Dawson isn't out, they were guaranteed to go to Super Bowl. But, you know, we got A.J. McCarron as a quarterback. I mean, it's A.J. McCarron. But I still think they have enough to beat the Steelers. Also with D'Angelo Williams with that ankle, we really don't know how it's going to be. And who's his backup, Douglas?
I couldn't name him. That's a problem. True Font. Wow. He's a veteran, though.
Yeah.
He's a veteran.
No, he's not. He's not ready.
Man. I like Big Ben.
Sorry.
I have a memory of about 6 years ago. Was it the Seahawks playing the Steelers in the Super Bowl? And Big Ben basically won that game by himself. And that's what he can do. I mean, weapons or no weapons, I feel like if they get off a couple good runs in the first half, the Bengals are going to have to, you know, put some rushers out there. And if they go one-on-one with any of those guys, their receivers are too brutal. And I think that A.J. McCarron is going to get 2 touchdowns. Yes, I think he will. But Ben's going to get 3 or 4. To me, it's that simple.
With me, the Steelers, their passing game is the way it is this year because it's been set up by the run. What Bell did at the beginning of the season and with D'Angelo Williams to start the season, they set up the run and then it opens up the passing. Right now, they don't have anything to set up the run. I don't believe the backup is good enough. I don't think D'Angelo Williams' ankle is good enough to set up a good running game. I don't think they can just start throwing it out to Antonio Brown right away, or Brian, or Whedon, and get up big.
I don't disagree necessarily, but people were saying the same thing when Le'Veon Bell went down. Who's this D'Angelo Williams character? He's not going to be enough to run the run game. So if it's a next man up, quote unquote, situation, and he gets off 1 or 2 big runs, they have to respect it. And we don't know until the game starts.
Okay.
But
what's the outcome of this game? You think it's going to be a blowout, Steelers?
No, I think the Steelers are going to win by a touchdown. I mean, I really don't see it any less than that. The Steelers always go for two, or typically go for two, which is interesting when it comes to the line. So I think that 1 point really might play a difference here. Most teams they kick the point after, and that's it. So the 7.3 point spreads are typical and they come into play. But I know a couple weeks ago when the Steelers were favored by 13 points, I was like, man, I was worried, but they went for two and they covered. So I don't know. That's
and
gonna.
What about home field advantage? You think it's gonna play any part for Cincinnati this week?
It should, but I feel like because they haven't won a playoff game and this coach is unproven, I feel that the home fans are going to be fair weather. So if they get down 2 scores in the first quarter, I feel like they're not going to have that support, which could happen. So I don't know. Yeah. It's not the 12th man. I know that much.
And so for the wide receiving core of the Steelers, who is the one person that needs to have a big game? Who are you looking at?
Who's number 3? Is it Wheaton?
So, yes, it's Wheaton.
I mean, number 1 and number 2, they're...
I don't think Antonio Brown's not going off. He's going to get double team, maybe a triple team.
Exactly. And who's number 2?
I'm thinking Wheaton or the tight end.
Yeah.
Have to have a big game. Have to have a big game.
So I'm taking the Steelers -2 all day.
The Bengals, perfect. And then you have the DBs for the Bengals. You got Pac-Man Jones. Don't call me Pac-Man anymore, Jones. He's stopping him. He's stopping him. But out of all the games this week, this is the one that most intrigues me.
It's the most intriguing, for sure. So I'm not mad at you for picking the Bengals. I knew you was going to take the points. So you're confident, but you're not that confident. All right. So moving on to Sunday. You still there?
Okay. Yes, I'm here.
All right. So the morning game is Washington at Green Bay.
Okay.
And this one is basically a pick 'em.
Yep, pick 'em.
At first, the public thought Vegas rather thought that the Redskins were favored by a point, then Green Bay by a point. Now it's back to a pick 'em. I mean, it's the writing's on the wall with this. Aaron Rodgers is obviously the better quarterback, but has no momentum. Kirk Cousins obviously has nothing to his name, but is the feel-good story of the year. You know, the Washington football team made good.
You like that?
You like that, exactly. So I could see this game literally going either way. I could see it being a close game, or I could see Green Bay riding the ship and running away with it. I don't see the Redskins blowing them out. What are your thoughts? How do you see it going?
Well, this is a game I really like the Washington Redskins. First off, the Packers are going into the playoffs very ice cold. 2 wins in the last 6 games.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
You look at the offensive line, giving up a lot of sacks. Rodgers is getting hurried a lot. And their wide receivers can't find separation at all. I mean, the last couple of years, we thought that the receivers on the Packers could just get away with anything. But without Jordy Nelson, it's a whole different game. Kyle's not getting open. James Jones isn't getting open. I mean, if they didn't score that Hail Mary pass a couple weeks ago, this team might not be in the playoffs.
Right. That's crazy. Can one wide receiver who is not a top 10 receiver in my mind, Jordy Nelson, can he really change the season that much? That's crazy to me. What does that say about Aaron Rodgers?
I think Nelson was a security blanket. You know, he was Manning's protector.
Yeah.
He was, just Aaron Rodgers just can rely on him. Even if it's a quick slant, 3 yards, 4 yards, just something to get momentum. Right now, they're not getting any momentum.
Now, I would argue
I
that,
don't like that Lacy.
yeah, Lacey's, he's all over the
Lacy
place.
goes for 100 yards one week. The next week, he goes 8 rushes for like 14 yards. Come on, man.
Is he even averaging positive yardage? And I agree about him being a security blanket. I would argue that some people say that Russell Wilson, beast mode. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but that he's a security blanket for Russell. And he's obviously proven the second half of the season that he doesn't need a premier back to get the job done, to win games. So I think we're on the same page. Watch the Redskins in a close game. Redskins -1.
I said, yep. And my big star for the week will be Jordan Reed. I think Jordan Reed's going to have an amazing game.
So
At least 1 touchdown. I'll say six catches over 80 yards.
for all the daily fantasy players, is that your sleeper?
That's not my sleeper. Like the last couple of weeks, he's just been pretty much the top 3 tight ends. So everyone knows about him. Should be going good.
Nice. All right, so we agree on that one. So the big money game, I would say that this is America's game of the week. Sunday night, Sunday afternoon action. Seahawks at Vikings. And this just in, Marshawn Lynch is not playing. How does that change the outlook of this game, if at all?
They haven't had him for the second half of the season. What I think is the biggest factor in this game is the weather. We're looking at -14 degrees wind chill factor going into the game.
I don't even know what that feels like.
Oh, I can imagine. I don't even know how you can watch. So I'm thinking it's going to be a low-scoring game.
How low?
Now,
Like 10 to 13 low?
I'm saying it's going to be under 40 points total.
Okay.
So we look at the running backs. AT has advantage over the backups for Seattle, which is, Christian Michael. So I think the advantage running game goes to Vikings.
Okay.
Defense, I'd have the advantage going to Seattle.
Okay.
And the best player in the second half of the NFL season has been Russell Wilson.
Russa.
This kid played in Wisconsin for college.
He did.
He's used to the cold.
This is different cold, though.
Last season, right?
This is different cold. I don't think.
But I feel anything under -20 is just cold. You feel me?
Right.
You're just frozen.
Right.
So he's used to the cold, and he's just a magician. You think you got him sacked, he'll scramble away, get a 10-yard run, or find open Doug Baldwin. I mean, right now, they're the best team in NFC the last second half of the season.
And by far, right?
So
Because the Panthers, they showed a little chink in their armor. The Cardinals just laid down when Seattle came to town. So I don't think anybody's arguing that fact. And the fact that Vegas still has the Patriots as favorites to win the Super Bowl is kind of a joke. And I think in my mind, it just shows that the East Coast has more money on the table. The East Coast just takes their sports more seriously. They're more diehard. And my eyeballs are telling me that Seattle is the odds-on favorite. That's what my eyes tell me.
okay.
Now,
I
Adrian
agree with
Peterson is a better back, fine. But his back is not better. He's injury prone. With the cold weather, I think he's an old man. His back is going to lock up on him, and the fact that he has to, if this was soccer or basketball, and you could get warmed up and keep moving your body, I think he would be all right. but you've got to wait between downs and you get the opportunity to stiffen up. And I think that's going to come into play. I really do think that Adrian Peterson is not going to be his self in this cold weather. And I think that's going to be the difference of why Seattle's going to beat them handily.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. So it looks like today we have the same picks all except the Bengals game.
Yep.
Is that correct?
We agree on the Chiefs are going to win, Redskins are going to win, Seattle's going to win, and the Bengals and Steelers, we are tied. That's a push.
Okay.
So I guess we'll have to check in tomorrow after the games and do a recap.
Sounds good. Well, yeah. I can't wait for a couple more hours. These games keep going, and we'll win some money.
Appreciate your time, buddy. Enjoy your breakfast, Isaac.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, talk to you later. Peace.
Bye.
Talk is cheap, motherfucker.